everybody. I'm here today to talk to you about how to prepare for a phone interview. I'll be going over these 7 best tips that actually work. Now, it's not uncommon for phone interviews to happen nowadays. In the past, it was more uncommon. Now, it's not really that uncommon. So with that being said, these are the 7 best tips for preparing for your next phone interview, so that hopefully you have a better chance of getting the job, or at least making it to the next stage of the interview, like if there's a second interview or something like that. Let's get right into the video. Tip number 1, and these are the best tips. Tip number 1 is to confirm the details of the phone interview. Now, maybe that means calling the company, the HR department, the secretary, the administrator, and asking them about the details of your interview just to be sure. Or it means that when they're telling you the details, this is the better plan. When they're telling you the details of the interview, let's say they say Thursday, February 5th, at 10 o'clock a.m. I just made that up right now. I don't even know if Thursday happens to be on February 5th this year, last year, any other year, okay? But Thursday, February 5th, 10 o'clock a.m. You're gonna write it down and you say, perfect. I will speak to you on Thursday, February 5th at 10 o'clock a.m. They're gonna say, yeah, that is perfect, excellent. Before the interview, a couple days before the interview, check what you wrote down to make sure you have the right date and time in your mind, okay? Tip number 2, prepare answers for common interview questions. You can go online, look up common interview questions. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What can you bring to the table? What do you expect from this job? Blah, blah, blah. There's lots of common questions. Prepare answers for those questions because you're probably going to get asked them or some variation of them, okay? Number 3, do a mock interview with a friend or family member. This is something to practice, but what I would recommend is you do a mock phone interview with a friend or family member, because I will always recommend doing a mock interview before an interview, especially in person, but I would recommend you do a mock phone interview. So have them call you at a specific date and time. You want to prepare as if it's a real interview. They're going to ask you some common interview questions. You're going to answer those common interview questions over the phone, exactly in the spot where you would be answering those questions during the real interview. So literally create the whole interview situation so you can practice it, okay? Number 4, so that was number 3, do a mock interview with a friend or family member, and make sure it's a phone mock interview and it's exactly in the whole situation that you'll be in for the actual interview. Number 4, make sure your phone is charged. You really want to make sure your phone is reliable. Make sure that it's not going to just not turn on. And like if your phone is checking out already, you might want to consider getting a new phone, or at least borrowing a phone for that interview, right? Figure out a way to make sure the phone is reliable and make sure it's fully charged. I would recommend that you even have your charger close by in case you got to plug it in during the interview. You know, sometimes phones malfunction and they just like go from 100% battery to 5% battery. It's happened to my phones in the past, very rarely, but it's happened. And if it happens in that situation, or if the interview goes for really long and you drain your battery, you want to have your charger nearby, okay? Make sure your phone is charged, make sure it's reliable, and have your charger nearby. Number 5, drink a glass of water half an hour before the interview. Having a glass of water in your system will do a few things that sort of allows your brain to clear up a little bit in terms of your thinking because you're hydrated. Number 2, it prevents you from clearing your throat. And I'm really thirsty. This is actually my 6th video that I'm filming right now in this situation. I haven't had any water, so I don't want to show you my tongue, but like my mouth is really dry. My tongue is probably quite white because my mouth is really dry. So having a glass of water prevents that mouth dryness, and it will essentially allow you to be better at speaking on the phone. And the half an hour before is because if you have a glass of water too far in advance, then you might have to use the bathroom when you're on the phone interview, and you want to avoid that. If you have a glass of water half an hour before your phone interview, generally it won't go through your system that fast, so you should probably be okay. And it's 1 glass of water. You're not chugging down a massive amount, so you should probably be okay for going to the bathroom, but you be the judge of that. Obviously, if you have to go to the bathroom before the interview, then go. Yeah, that's it. Try not to go during the interview because you don't want it. You want to avoid that if you can. Number 6, try not to strain your voice for a couple of days before the interview, okay? Now, my voice, because of the thousands of videos that I've done screaming like this, right, talking this loudly to the camera, my voice can take an absolute beating and it's fine. I very rarely will lose my voice unless I'm screaming top of my lungs like this. If I'm singing in the car, like if I'm belting out a song, I'm like, ah, you know, then I have the possibility of losing my voice. Other than that, I don't really lose my voice. You be the judge of your own voice. If you know that singing or screaming or talking loudly or talking too much strains your voice, excuse me, then you want to avoid doing that. You want to make sure you're avoiding straining your voice. It is truly important to make sure your voice is top-notch because they can't read your lips like they can in a regular in-person interview. So during a phone interview, you want to make sure that you can speak properly, okay? And they can hear what you're saying. Lastly is number 7, which is set a reminder to put your phone's ringer on at least Let me repeat that because I'm reading off my notes and I've said it wrongly. Set a reminder to put your phone's ringer on at least half an hour before the actual interview. If you want to, you can leave it on from the morning all the way until the interview just to be sure. Okay, but you want to set a reminder to turn your phone ringer on because, like, for myself, my phone ringer is always off. So I always leave my ringer off. I have certain numbers that are, emergency contacts for me that I leave there. There's a special setting on the iPhone, on the iOS, that you can allow a certain number to come through and ring even when your phone's ringer is off. So I have like certain numbers that will always ring. Other than that, my phone's pretty much always on silent because I'm always filming, okay? So with that being said, set a reminder to put your phone's ringer on, unless you always leave it on, but still, I would still recommend that you set a reminder to put your phone's ringer on so you don't forget. That's it. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down below as a comment. And of course, be sure to subscribe for more great videos just like this one. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.